My friend had an outburst at a party, and now I'm concerned about him.
What a party pooper.
And trigger warning for substances and mention of abuse. I, 21 female, have 2 best guy friends. Brothers I'll call Elliot and Robert. We've been friends for 3 years now. Elliot and I are closer, though I've never thought of Robert as second best. About a week ago, we went to dinner together and started talking about relationships. Elliot's been with the same girl for 5 years, while Robert recently became single a few months ago. I mentioned that I've been single since high school and have never really dated anyone I was super into. They were both sympathetic. By the way, this comes from throwaway379514, and you can submit your own stories on the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And I'm Riley.
I'm romantically interested in both of them.
Oh, that's not...
Dude, this is the summer I turned pretty.
Yeah.
They're brothers. She's even 21. This is new season of summer I turned pretty. When Elliot first started talking to me, he was flirtatious, and I thought he might ask me out. I later discovered he had a girlfriend. Oh, no. No big deal. They've both been great friends ever since. And my feelings have never interfered with our friendship. They've always been flirtatious, though, Elliot more than Robert. He brings me flowers, kisses my hands, calls me his heart, and similar gestures. Man's got a girlfriend, and he's doing this?
Well,
yikes.
he's probably in the same dilemma that you're in. He likes 2 girls at once. What's wrong with that?
Messy. At first, this bothered me for obvious reasons. When I brought it up, he said he did it because I deserve to be loved. Opie does not deserve this. This is so messy. Elliot seems to struggle with dividing romantic, friend, and familial love. He's told strangers that he and Robert are married, which sounds strange to outsiders, but that's just how Elliot is. Aren't they brothers? Am I crazy? What? Because at first I was like, oh, Keon would totally do that with Dakota, but these guys are brothers. Did she mean that metaphorically? But that's just how Elliot is. He's also uses recreational substances like the devil's lettuce and mushrooms. Important to note, he's never made spicy advances or asked me on romantic dates. I mean, he's kissing your hand, so that's somewhat of an
That's
advance.
a body.
I've never felt physically threatened by either brother. Why are they saying they're married? They're brothers. That's gross. We actually met at a concert when they protected me from a creep.
Nice.
This is so anime. But I'm imagining them both being like, hey, is this guy bothering you? And then like the lights shining above them and it's like slow motion. They've been nothing but kind and gentle throughout our friendship. After that dinner conversation about my dating history, nothing changed initially. Then everything exploded at Friendsgiving a few days later.
Uh-oh.
I was at their house with several friends for a relaxed evening. As the night progressed, I noticed Robert getting closer to me than usual with little touches he wouldn't normally do. And Robert is the single one.
Yes.
So I support that. I definitely noticed, but wasn't bothered. Elliot also noticed, and by evening's end, he was obviously angry. Get off your high horse, dude. You're in a relationship. I've seen them both handle conflicts with others civilly, but with each other, it's always war. As the evening got later, there was some drinking and substance use happening. Elliot was high on something while Robert and I remained completely sober. Robert and I were on a couch talking when suddenly he looked at me like he wanted to kiss me. I let him since I've always been interested in him.
Boo.
We were kissing when Elliot suddenly ripped Robert off me and they fought.
Oh, wow. They did start fighting.
It took 3 friends to pull him off. Then he turned to me and screamed, "You're mine!" What is going on? Is this a fan fiction?
Is
this a Summer I Turned Pretty fan fiction? I was obviously shaken, so a mutual friend drove me home immediately. Since then, I've talked to Robert, who apologized even though he did nothing wrong. Elliot has tried apologizing through various excuses. What does his girlfriend think? Has anyone told his girlfriend?
Is she even real?
I don't know. From thinking Robert was wanting to hurt me to being confused and thinking I was his girlfriend due to the substances. I'm sorry, Elliot said one of his excuses was I thought you were my girlfriend?
I would say most women all look the same.
There's a full racial difference.
Oh. Well, what if you're colorblind?
And she wasn't even there that evening. Elliot is begging for forgiveness, swearing he'll never be high around me again. He's extremely upset and wants a chance to prove he can still be a good friend. He understands it could be years before I trust him the same way again and says he doesn't care. He just wants to make things right. He's communicated all this through texts and voicemails I haven't responded to yet. I'm torn. What he did was horrible and scared me, but the thought of losing my best friend breaks my heart. I need an outside perspective on the situation, and there are some comments, but Keon, what's your perspective? Because I don't trust Riley's perspective.
I think Riley's off the rails right now.
I'm on to
Yeah.
something here.
Yeah. Something that we don't want to know.
I don't want to be on that.
Well, I would say
This friend group's really weird.
It is.
This is
So
too
weird.
much. And the fact that, like, you wanted this and he wanted this, like,
everyone's too involved.
I feel like no one's had an actual conversation.
I agree. Also, I do think that you do kind of have to give him a lot of space because you guys can't be friends right now.
So looking at
That's
the
where we
pros and
are.
cons list,
Yeah.
we're going to have to go with Robert.
Yes.
Who cares?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Robert is the Conrad of the situation. Go with Robert.
yeah, Elliot? Is that his name?
Elliot is Jeremiah.
Idiot? Elliot? Idiot?
Yes, but there are comments. Comment 1. How does this guy's girlfriend feel about her boyfriend obsessing over you like this? Real weird dynamic, all of it. This is never going to end well if you pursue more than friendship with either of them. Read the update and doesn't change my opinion. This will not end well for you. Sorry though, this is a really sucky situation for you to have gone through and be in. OP says, it's definitely weird dynamic, but Elliot is a super affectionate person towards literally everyone. Do not let him lie to you.
Yeah.
He'll tell a complete stranger that he can see the universe in their eyes. It probably used to bother his girlfriend in the beginning, but I'd imagine that after all these years together, she's accepted that he's just like that. Calling his brothers beautiful, taking their mom out to candlelit dinners, random thoughtful gifts for his coworkers, Elliot's just like that. It's like to him, the only difference between a romantic and any other kind of relationship is spicy sleep. So I guess I'm saying that his obsession with me that people keep talking about isn't really obsession. It's just him. You're so blind. You're so blind.
Yeah.
Open your eyes. There's an update. When I made my initial post, almost everyone said to drop Elliot and run from the whole situation. Yes. That felt wrong to me. Instead, I gathered the people he loves most to discuss his behavior. Did you gather his girlfriend? Did you bring his girlfriend?
I don't think so.
Probably not. I didn't think someone reacting this way could be in a good mental state, and I was afraid for my friend. First, I contacted Robert to ask if he was actually interested in a romantic relationship with me. He was. Oh.
Go girl.
Go get Robert.
Yes. Get that meat.
Ew. So we arranged for the 4 of us to sit down together. Robert, myself, Elliot, and his girlfriend, to talk about why he got so angry seeing Robert and me together. I would be so mad if I was the girlfriend. I would be so mad. It was a long conversation with lots of question dodging and tears, but we eventually started unraveling things. Here's the basic summary. Elliot and Robert's father left their mother when they were very young.
Okay.
He maintained contact until he remarried. Elliot was 13 and hasn't spoken to his father since. He never received more than a few days of therapy for this abandonment, which is when his angry outbursts began. They have an older brother, Lance, who became a father figure to both Robert and Elliot after their dad cut contact. Then Lance got married about a year ago, moved out of their shared house, and became much more distant, making Elliot and Robert even closer to each other.
Okay.
While Lance didn't disappear entirely, Elliot felt like he'd lost a crucial branch of his support system. Since Lance's marriage, Elliot's mental health has steadily deteriorated.
What?
He was always prone to anxiety attacks and depressive episodes, never officially diagnosed because he refused to see doctors. When Lance became distant, these symptoms worsened significantly. Elliot tried hiding his struggles because he didn't want anyone to notice. His girlfriend noticed changes, but he insisted he was fine. You're probably sensing the pattern in Elliot's life. Someone he cares about gets married and stops being in contact with him. Through our conversation, we discovered that many of Elliot's panic attacks are triggered by his fear of losing people, no matter how illogical that fear might be. After much reassurance that we loved him and were there because we cared, Elliot finally explained his Friendsgiving breakdown. When he saw Robert and me kiss, he panicked, thinking he was about to lose both his best friend and his brother to a relationship. You liar! I don't believe him. I don't believe him.
I don't believe him either, because he's like, he doesn't want Robert to leave, but he also is really into OP.
Yeah, that's clear. In his mind, the only way to keep us around was preventing us from dating, leading to the violent incident you read about. Elliot acknowledges his behavior was toxic, harmful, and completely wrong. He also clarified that he doesn't mind if Robert and I date and doesn't have romantic feelings for me. You liar!
Dude,
He's such a freaking liar.
Your nose just grew 12 feet.
Yeah. After much discussion, we convinced him to get a therapist and stop using substances. At least for 6 months. He genuinely seems ready to get better. What I've learned is that while some situations are hopeless, you should still try talking to people behaving erratically. There's probably a reason behind their actions, and they might even know what the reason is. I believe that he has problems that he needs to go to a therapist for. He needs help. Like, I agree with all of that. I just think he's lying about not having romantic feelings for OP.
Oh, definitely.
A cry for help doesn't always sound like one. When friends act abnormally and negatively, don't immediately run away. Try to help first. If I had run away, my best friend, who was already spiraling, would have been in a much worse position. This experience taught me that sometimes the most frightening behavior comes from the deepest pain. Elliot's violent outburst wasn't about possession or romantic jealousy.
There was definitely...
You're so blind! It was about a terrified young man who'd watched important people leave his life repeatedly and was desperately trying to prevent it from happening again, using the only method his panicked mind could conceive. The conversation revealed how much trauma can shape someone's reactions without them fully understanding it themselves. Elliot has been carrying the pain of his father's abandonment and Lance's emotional distance without proper support or professional help. His substance use was likely self-medication for anxiety and depression he couldn't otherwise manage. But you guys should be able to manage listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
One day, hopefully, the whole truth will be revealed to you, and you'll be able to see how things actually are.
Dude, OP's gonna get with Robert. They're gonna date for a couple years.
Don't say it.
And then
Stop.
they're about to get married. They're about to get married.
Stop.
Elliot has broken up with his girlfriend. He comes to OP and he's like, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And OP's like, "What?" And he's like, "I lied to you all those years ago.
Oh my gosh.
It was about you. I've been in love with you this whole time."
And OP says nope and goes down the
and then
aisle,
she
right?
goes down the aisle with Robert. Moving forward, we're all committed to supporting Elliot's recovery while maintaining healthy boundaries. Robert and I are exploring our relationship carefully, making sure Elliot feels included and valued as a friend. His girlfriend is also helping him stay accountable to therapy and sobriety commitments. This situation could have ended our entire friend group, but instead it became an opportunity for deeper understanding and healing. Sometimes the people who scare us most are the ones who need our help most desperately. Though that doesn't excuse harmful behavior or mean we should tolerate abuse. I'm grateful we chose compassion over abandonment, not because Elliot deserved forgiveness, but because he deserved a chance to understand and change his behavior. The real test will be seeing if he follows through on his commitments to therapy and sobriety. But for now, I'm cautiously optimistic about our friendship's future. And that's the end. Dang, man. Dang. I literally, he's a liar. I don't believe him at all. But good luck. Hope you and Robert have a happy life together.
You know who is like the most not well-off person at all in this story?
Yeah.
Elliot's girlfriend.
Elliot's girlfriend. I feel so bad for Elliot's girlfriend for having to put up with a boyfriend who's just deeply in love with another girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then that other girl brings everyone together And it's like, let's talk about that moment when you said, "You're mine," and punched your brother. And then the girlfriend has to be like, "Yeah, let's get help for you. I'm fine. That's just Elliot. That's just who he is, right?"
He's the kisser of hands.
You know, he just kisses everyone's hands, and
Dude.
I'm not jealous about that.
My friend blamed me for not forgiving him after what he did.
What'd he do?
During a recent school break, I was sitting at home when I received a snap from a friend I'll call Sam. To be clear, I don't have a crush on Sam. He had a crush on me for a while, but claimed it was just a joke or a dare when I rejected him. I'm not sure if it was actually a joke since he's shown genuine interest for months and only said it was fake after I said no.
Yeah, it's not a joke, obviously.
Unless if you like want to do it.
People
like-
can't be this oblivious.
By the way, this comes from Far Village 2415. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I'm Riley,
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
and OP says he sent a pic of himself with a few church friends in Bali. Then said he'd give me their personalities and asked me to rate them because he was trying to figure out my type.
Dude,
It seemed
leave
like
it.
his usual friendly banter. So I agreed. When he sent the photos through, there were no personality descriptions. I asked if he forgot to include them, and he didn't reply. Then I got a snap with the caption, "If you need personality, suck my pee-pee."
I think he got a good rating.
Yeah.
I think he was really excited.
Blocked. Yikes.
Sam must have given his phone to one of his friends because suddenly I was talking to someone else, who I'll call Dan. I explained that I don't judge based on looks alone since the full package matters to me. Dan immediately went off about how girls only date guys for money and fame, claiming I
God.
don't have a personality.
Oh my God.
And that's why I seek guys with a personality. This made me angry because he was essentially saying girls can't be successful without men's help and are incapable of earning money ourselves. When I didn't respond, knowing better than to argue with teenage boys, Dan kept attacking me. He went after my looks. Sam must have shown him my photo, my friends, my gender, my music taste, literally anything you could think of. He started calling me fat repeatedly, body shaming every part of me, trying desperately to get a reaction. This really hurt. I've always been insecure about my weight, though not because I think I'm too big. My doctor says I'm underweight at every checkup since my ADHD medication suppresses my appetite. Still, no teenage girl enjoys being body shamed by strangers.
Okay, so we do know that they're all teenagers.
Well, guess what? You don't have to.
Block them.
I went to bed upset and woke up to 5 missed calls from Sam between midnight and 4 a.m. I told him I needed space. When I finally messaged back, I explained while I made a few joke insults like calling one of them old, which Sam knows is normal for teasing for me. It's never okay to body shame teenage girls and attack them about everything. Sam said it was just a joke.
Ooh. Yeah, and then that's when we block Sam.
Sam said it was a joke, that I was overreacting, and that I started it. I told him it hurt my feelings regardless of his intentions. He kept making the same excuses, so I stopped replying. Then he claimed he didn't contribute to what Dan said, that all his friends were discussing what to say, but he did not participate.
I literally don't give a hoot. They're your friends. And you gave them your phone
That's so funny.
and let them text your friend and then told her that she's overreacting.
This was supposed to comfort me, but it actually made things worse. It meant they were planning coordinated attacks while he stood there silently. He never apologized, took responsibility, or acknowledged that things went too far. He just blamed others and made excuses. When we returned to school, we were in the same homeroom. I told him not to expect everything to be normal. I needed time and wouldn't pretend everything was fine. He called me overdramatic again. I said unless he apologized properly, I wouldn't talk to him. He kept bombarding me with messages saying I was overreacting and that he was completely innocent. I told him I was done trying to fix things. If he ever wanted to repair our friendship, it was entirely his responsibility now. At school, he kept trying to talk to me in person with the same tried excuses. I started treating him as just a classmate, avoiding conversations when possible, though I still replied to snaps and messages. He was furious that I wouldn't talk to him in person and remained convinced he'd done nothing wrong. My friends all agreed with my position. He was trying to gaslight me into thinking everything was fine and that it was my fault. I was upset about losing Sam as a friend, confused about how someone who used to like me was now gaslighting me, and angry that a good friendship had been ruined over something so unnecessary. I took photos of the entire conversation as proof in case things escalated further. We have comments.
These are teenage boys.
Yep.
And a lot of teenage boys suck. Not all. Not all teenage boys suck. Some are really lovely. A lot of teenage boys are really stupid, especially around their friends.
I do remember being a teenage boy.
Yes.
I did suck sometimes.
Yeah.
I didn't have a phone as a teenage boy, so
And you still suck
Thank
sometimes.
goodness.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
If I didn't pick enough green beans, that'd suck.
Yeah, a lot of teenage boys make really awful comments. I remember being a teenage girl, and some boys are really silly and say silly things.
Anyways, we have an update.
Let's do it.
So OP says, I officially blocked him on everything.
Woo! Good on you, girl.
Should have been the first thing, but it's okay.
She's young.
I told him what had happened hurt, and I tried to fix it, but I wouldn't put 90% of the effort for his lackluster 10%. I said I wouldn't talk to him online or in person unless he came to me with a proper apology, not because I demanded one. He keeps looking at me in class like he wants to talk, but hasn't approached me. When I told him this final decision, he sat there online without typing until I was about to block him. Then he suddenly said, "But I snitched on them. I told them off," and kept spamming, "Did you ever think about their feelings?"
Yikes, he's crashing out.
Like, yes, of course, I thought about the guy who body shamed every inch of me. Of course, I felt terrible for simply calling one of them old, comparing my playground insults to their cruel attacks. I didn't reply. I'm avoiding him and everything about him, possibly forever. My mind might change eventually, but right now, I don't want to talk to him ever again. Update 2. I haven't spoken to him in 4 months.
Woo!
Also, we have an update 4 months later and you're still thinking about him.
Well, of course she is.
Well, because I think,
This is like one of the biggest things that's probably,
Going on.
happened
yeah.
there.
yeah, again,
this
for like a
year.
teenager, this is like,
Yeah, this is
This is
huge.
huge.
Breaking news for the
Yeah.
rest of the year.
I haven't spoken to him in 4 months. He's blocked on everything. Here's what had happened since. He body shamed me in front of his friends during a class presentation.
what?
He bullied
Ugh.
me until I cried, only stopping when a teacher intervened.
Oh,
He even spread a fake discriminatory screenshots claiming I sent discriminatory messages. During a presentation about opening a bakery, which I got a 98 on, he raised his hand and asked, "Shouldn't you maybe focus on cutting down on sugar and carbs instead of becoming even fatter and just eating cookies for a living?"
I
I
thought,
hate him so much.
does
Wait a
it
minute,
school
wait a minute, wait a minute.
bullying stop? What,
His friends joined in with similar comments until my teacher cut them off and told me to take a walk. I was about to break down.
This makes me so sad.
Another morning, after I left to use the bathroom, he followed me down the hall, bullying me about liking Taylor Swift with the usual sexist garbage. A teacher spotted me rushing to the bathroom in tears and stepped in. Worst of all, he doctored a fake message to make it look like I told him to go back to
Oh
where
my
you came
God.
from, ape.
Oh my
gosh.
God.
What?
Sorry, I didn't see. To be absolutely clear, I would never say anything like this. He sent those fabricated screenshots to teachers.
To teachers?
Getting me punted off of school council and pulled into the office
Oh
with multiple
my-
staff members.
Oh my
Only
gosh.
I did break down and tell them everything he's been doing for months. After the meeting with him and both sets of parents, he was expelled.
Yes, as he should be. As he should be. Thank goodness.
Why did it take this long? I'm
The thing
so
is-
confused.
No, that's what happened. I feel like there's so many cases where a P or like young kids don't want to come forward and talk about their bullying because they don't
But
want to seem like a snitch or they're afraid of coming forward.
that's
but-
crazy.
There's so many signs, and I feel like sometimes parents just really are not looking out.
He somehow contacted me afterwards, cussing me out because his parents were furious. Now he has to go to church twice a week instead of just on Sundays. So he moved to a different city, and I haven't seen or spoken to him since. Now I'm in therapy for body image and confidence issues, but at least my life isn't in danger anymore. Looking back, I realized this situation taught me important lessons about setting boundaries and recognizing toxic behavior. What started as a seemingly innocent interaction revealed someone's true character when they didn't get their way. Sam's reaction to rejection and my subsequent boundaries showed he was really never a friend at all. The experience was traumatic, but also showed me the importance of standing up for myself and not accepting mistreatment just to maintain relationships. Sometimes the people who claim to care about us are the ones who hurt us the most when we don't give them what they want. Guys, we give you what you want by going to your favorite podcast platform, searching up Storytime, and listening to more stories like this. Just search up
Okay, Storytime.
Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify.
And there
Sorry.
you go. It's okay.
Yeah, but
That's all right.
that's it. She's just kind of talking about, teachers stepped up,
Ears are plugged.
everything else. That's
Yeah.
it.
Tough. That's tough. OP, I wish you the best. Make sure that,
Yeah.
you got trusted adults in your life who got to stand up for you.
And
And
also
you reach
friends.
out and you tell them. Sorry?
Yeah. Also friends.
Also friends. Also,
Yeah.
there's going to be people in your life that are hopefully, your age who care about you and, want to protect you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate
It's
the
tough.
fact that you considered
Being a
him.
teenager is hard.
It is, but I hate the fact that you considered him a friend with
Yeah.
through all of that
It's
bullying.
such a betrayal.
All
It's
of
such
that
a
bullying. Like,
betrayal.
friends bully each other, sure, but it's like playful.
My best friend's fiance uninvited us from their wedding. Now our friendship is over.
Guess it wasn't meant to be.
And this comes directly from the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I, female 33, have been best friends with John, male 33, since we were 10. We grew up as neighbors and we're basically family. Think shared dinners, vacations, sleepovers, the whole deal.
Aw.
In college, we saw each other less due to different schools, but stayed close. During those days, we both got into long-term relationships. John dated May, and I started dating my now husband. We became close to each other's partners and formed a tight-knit friend group. By the way, this comes from Friend in Need 1, and you can submit your own stories on the r/OKstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Keon.
John and May were together for about 5 years, living together for 2 of those. Then John broke up with May somewhat suddenly. He was struggling mentally and dealing with depression. May was hurt and surprised, but handled it gracefully. They're both sweet, conflict-avoiding people, so their breakup was unusually amicable. After a cooling down period, they became close friends again and supported each other through rough times.
Oh, wow. It is possible.
It's possible. It became clear there was no romantic tension from either side. This unusual friendship allowed our friend group to stay intact, which we were grateful for. Wow. Okay. Successfully became friends with their ex. A few years later, John met Yoko.
I see.
They seemed an unlikely match at first. He's the laid-back, outdoorsy surfer type, while she's more career-oriented, polished, and preppy. But we were happy for him. At the time, he was still struggling with his mental health, and Yoko seemed to help with his problems. They're a good-looking couple. She makes good money, so on paper, she ticks all the boxes.
Yay.
Personality-wise, she didn't entirely match our friend group.
Aw.
But she seemed nice enough. We were nervous about how Yoko would react to May still being part of the group, but she seemed fine with it. We were pleasantly surprised, as we could imagine it must have been strange for her. May, being the sweetheart she is, went out of her way to be welcoming. Everything seemed great. John and Yoko moved very fast. They started looking at houses after 3 months, bought one, and moved in together at 6 months, and were engaged by month 12. Wow. It was quick, and we were surprised and a little worried, mostly due to John's recent mental state. But if it worked for them and they were happy, great. After their engagement, they FaceTimed me and my husband while we were on vacation to share the news, and we were genuinely thrilled. I even sent a postcard congratulating them and offering my help if needed. Immediately after they got engaged, things changed.
Uh-oh.
When meeting up with John a few weeks later, he casually mentioned May wouldn't be invited to the wedding. Reminder, they'd been broken up for 5 years, stayed good friends ever since, and she was integral to our group. This was disappointing. We were all looking forward to attending as a group, already making plans. Unfortunately, there was no discussing it. They were firm in their decision. apparently already discussed and decided just 2 weeks into their engagement. Although disappointing and unexpected, we moved on, figuring it's their wedding, their rules. Here's where the real drama started.
Uh-oh.
John told the rest of us about May not being invited, but didn't tell May herself. Dude, you gotta go talk to May.
Because it's not fun hearing it from someone else.
Ay. He kept saying he'd talk to her, but didn't. This put us in an awkward position. How could we be openly excited or discuss wedding plans when May was still in the dark? We might have been a little more reserved with the whole group. At a mutual friend's birthday dinner, our first time all together post-engagement, we congratulated them and briefly mentioned the wedding, but didn't go overboard. It was someone else's birthday after all. It was a fun night with no weird vibes, or so we thought. A few days later, John called us. He said he and Yoko were apparently hurt and disappointed and said we didn't seem happy for them, weren't supportive, and the vibe was off. Well, maybe you should talk to May. They felt we weren't truly excited about their engagement. We were shocked. Everyone had already congratulated them multiple times, including when they announced it in the group chat with lots of nice messages, and in person before that dinner. At the dinner, we congratulated them again and chatted about wedding stuff. Honestly, what more did they want?
Yeah.
I told John we were happy for them and never intended to seem otherwise. I explained that if we came across as reserved, it was probably due to the awkwardness over May not being invited while she still didn't know. I apologized if we made them feel unsupported. John said he understood and promised he'd tell May.
In a song, right?
Yeah. He did tell her, and she took it graciously, respecting their decision. Seems
Okay.
like May's always gracious.
I love May.
Everything happens, like he breaks up with her out of the blue, and she's gracious. Tells her she's not invited to his wedding. She's gracious.
Yeah.
May can't catch a break. We thought this was the end of it. It wasn't. From that point on, John kept bringing up nitpicky complaints, even though we went out of our way to be overly nice, ask about the wedding, and show interest in planning. After every hangout, he seemed fine in person, but later we'd hear he was upset again. They started acting distant. If John came to something, Yoko wasn't with him. He bailed on May's birthday last minute, later saying he wasn't allowed to go. Then John called me for advice after a big fight with Yoko about May. John sounded stressed. Apparently, he and May had gone surfing together, something they'd done many times before, and Yoko was upset because she had a rule about them not being alone together. I mean, are they really alone if they're surfing?
Yeah, there's dolphins involved.
And also just other surfers, and probably they went with other friends.
And fish. Do you not consider plankton an animal or
I
a
don't think
person?
she's considering all the sea life. He admitted he hadn't told her beforehand. Okay, you know what? I take it back. John is the problem.
John
John is the problem. I feel like John hasn't been telling Yoko anything. And then Yoko's getting insecure because John keeps lying to her. I told him that even if I didn't entirely agree with the rule, if it was something they'd agreed on, he should have respected it. I advised him to apologize, but not beat him up too much. He brought flowers to smooth things over. Not long after, John messaged the group chat saying we needed a serious talk. We had wine and snacks ready, and boy, did we need the wine. It was bizarre. They came with a whole list of accusations and complaints. We weren't supportive enough. We weren't happy for them. We didn't ask how Yoko was doing early enough. We always ask, but apparently too late. We chose May's side. What side? We didn't go to Yoko's birthday early in their relationship. We barely knew her and all had legitimate conflicts. Someone didn't respond to a message one time. We didn't respect their rules about May. What rules? And a bunch more petty things. They also kept comparing themselves to my husband and me, claiming the group was more excited for our wedding. Yoko kept referring to May only as the ex, while May was sitting right there, and said she didn't let John go to May's birthday because she wasn't comfortable with a hot tub and the ex being in a bathing suit.
All right. I think
It was all so weird. We're a group of 30-plus-year-old adults, but it felt like high school drama. They seemed to be living in their own fantasy world where we were the bad guys and they were the victims. This was completely out of character for John, who usually hates drama, avoids conflict, and is laid back. Now he sat there, nodding along to everything Yoko claimed. We kindly but firmly explained that we are happy for them. And from our perspective, there were no issues. It's their relationship, and we honestly don't have strong opinions about it. They needed to figure out their own boundaries within their relationship. We told them we didn't really know what they expected from us, but hoped they would try to see things more positively. We ended the conversation on quote-unquote good terms, and John even seemed genuinely relieved and cheerful the rest of the evening. Yoko acted normal. Unsurprisingly, we later found out Yoko wasn't happy.
And guess who didn't communicate that?
Soon after the conversation, John said Yoko wouldn't be coming around anymore. Then we discovered through mutual friends that they had received wedding invitations and we hadn't. I feel like you didn't get anything because they're friends with May.
Yeah.
I feel like Yoko sees anyone who's friends with May as
an op.
Yeah. And John isn't like willing to put his foot down or like actually have a conversation as an adult with Yoko.
Yeah, they're both kind of bad for each other.
Oh, I agree. John had been talking about invites for weeks, asking for our addresses, even teasing that ours were on the way. Nothing came. Not even for me, his best friend of 23 years. Wow. No heads up, nothing. When I finally asked, he said our invites were on hold. We both have to want you there. I do, but Yoko, as of this moment, doesn't. He also said he wanted to work on the friendship first. You're the one messing it up.
Yeah, you gotta work on it, man.
Weeks went by with no definitive answer. John occasionally joined group gatherings and acted friendly, but didn't mention the wedding. Yoko was still absent. We tried acting normal around John, but it felt forced and awkward because we felt like we were auditioning for their wedding, having to prove ourselves as friends with John reporting back to Yoko for judgment. Last Easter brunch, we asked directly. The wedding was only months away and we needed answers. The answer, no, we're not invited. He claims it keeps him up at night. No, it doesn't. But he's standing by his fiancée. So that's it. My best friend's wedding is at the end of the month and I'm not invited.
Dang.
I've cried about this. I can't believe I'm not going to my best friend's wedding. I was at his side through everything and he was a huge part of my own wedding. I was ready to return the favor. All this drama because his fiancée has grievances against me, us, and his ex. She made him uninvite his closest friends to his own wedding against his wishes. Now, I'm not even sure how many of his friends will be there. I know he has a few other work friends, but not many. It's not a small wedding. Even all work colleagues from both sides are invited, so that's already 30 people. So I'm guessing most guests are probably from her side. John doesn't want to end the friendship over this, but I don't think I can be friends with him anymore. I'm really hurt, and I honestly don't like this version of him. He knows me so well, yet he can make all these accusations to justify me not being there on one of the most important days of his life. At one point, he even accused me of caring more about the wedding than our friendship. You invite your best friends to your wedding, and if we're not important enough to be invited, we're apparently not friends, right? There's also a part of me that feels worried. This behavior is totally unlike John. He was in such a bad mental state when he met her, and everything moved so fast that I don't think he really got the chance to work on himself. It almost feels like he believes he needs her to get that picture-perfect life he wants, and now he's in too deep to back out. There's also likely a financial component to this since she has a high-paying job. Looking at it from that angle, he might need us someday. By the way, we need you to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. What do you think's going on? Or do you have any advice?
John chose his fiancée over his friends, which sometimes you have to, but in this sense, I don't think that was the right thing to do. I do sense maybe a breakup later down the road between John and Yoko,
Hopefully.
like 7-8 years down the road. And
I
he's
sure
gonna
hope
come
so.
back and be like, I'm sorry. And at that point, you have to decide, are you going to decide right now? You're cutting him off right now. Decide. If he comes back to you, are you going to accept him in? Or are you going to be like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do this. You betrayed me. And John's going to have to really come back and work on this. But right now, John, it's just not going to be a part of your life for a little bit.
Yeah, but there is a little bit left to the story. The friend group is divided. Some still talk to him, others are done. As his best friend, they leave it up to me to decide about group gatherings, though everyone can decide individually if they want to stay friends separately. I haven't spoken to John since Easter, and he hasn't reached out either. There were some messages in the group chat, but nothing more. Maybe that says enough. Maybe there's just no saving this friendship. Or am I wrong? Any advice or outside perspectives are welcome. Is there anything I can still do to salvage this friendship? Or should I just be done with it? Part of me wonders if I should reach out one more time, but another part thinks his silence since Easter speaks volumes. After 23 years of friendship, it's devastating to think it might end over something like this, but I'm also not sure I can accept being treated this way by someone who was supposed to be my closest friend. And that is the end of that story, folks.
Low key, I think you should invite him to a fundraiser where people are raising money for this disease going around.
Yeah.
And you all get together and you band up one more time and combat
Get the
against
gang
this.
back together.